Right, welcome everybody to my one-on-one conversation with Rudo Nyamoto. Rudo is a confidence coach, image strategist. She's the founder of Jide Creations. And I am so excited, guys, that I managed to get her to sit down and just talk to me out of her very busy schedule. Rudo, welcome
Thank
to
you,
my
Steph.
one-on-one. How are you?
I'm well. Besides
Good.
the chill,
I know it's so cold, right? So please don't mind us, guys. We're having tea as we're having this conversation. It's pretty cold. Shout out to Ndini Shana Media for these amazing cups. Shout out to them.
they're working. They're
Yeah.
working because no, it's cold. I can't even pretend to be like I got it together. I am cold.
Yeah, I
am
know.
cold.
So, Rudo, I managed to get you to sit down and talk to me today. Please tell the people out there who is Rudo. But before we get there, I'm sure people might be wondering, okay, what's happening? We had an Instagram live a month ago, and we got so many requests from people requesting that we have a proper discussion so that they can watch it on other media that's not just Instagram. So here we are. Please tell us about yourself, Rudo. Who is Rudo?
Sheesh. How many minutes do we have to answer that?
2 minutes.
Right. So the summarized version. Geez, you know, when I think who is Rudo, I always think about my life journey in terms of how I've walked to become who I am today. And I think one of the things I always am grateful for is my Christian foundations and being rooted in a place, a school where I learned certain values. And one of the takeouts as well outside of the values was confidence.
Right.
I know at times we take it for granted that school is just getting education, going past, come out with like 6 A's or 10 A's or whatever. But I was not like that. One of my key takeouts that has worked for me now is confidence.
Wow.
And I think which is why it has taken me on the journey that I'm taking now.
Wow.
I'm a mom of one very energetic, talkative girl.
Yeah, I met her.
And I love the mom journey. That's one of the things I'm enjoying with my post journey from leaving full-time employment. I have more time, to be a mom and just to be a girl. Because yes, I'm a mom, but I'm still a girl. Can never take that away from me. And I'm a marketer by profession, researcher by career. So for me, my strength is just about engagement, people. That's one of the things that I love. Put me amongst people, put me in a place to talk. I will not stop.
Wow.
So you have to put the
I'll
brakes.
Stop you. Okay, I will be like, okay, time out, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting that you say that your takeout from school was the confidence bit. Would you say that you've always known that this was the road or the journey that you would take, or it's something that you discovered along the way?
Definitely it was not what I saw. It was not what I saw. I mean, it's now when I can talk about it to say, you know what, I didn't come out with the 10 A's. But back then it was like an eyesore because you have your friends like, when the results came out, it's like, I've got 7 A's and Rudo, what did you get? And then you're like, you've got C's, you've got this, you've got that.
The struggle is real.
But now I embrace it because I've journeyed through life and have come to learn that just because I have an A in English does not mean it's going to ace me in a space where the English is needed.
Right.
There's more than just the qualification in life.
Wow.
There's more than just, did you get the good education? You need to be an all-rounder. When you're an all-rounder, you have greater opportunities that come and knock on your door.
That's, I keep saying that's amazing because as you're talking, I'm saying to myself, this is the stuff that they're only telling us now. When we were growing up, you would go to school to either become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant. And if you don't make it in those spaces, you're probably never going to amount to anything according to our culture, maybe as Zimbabwe, as just people in general. But now you're telling me that you're looking back at how you grew up and the C's that you get, and I'm sure there were D's in there somewhere.
Fortunately not. maybe one.
But you're now looking at your failures and just saying, out of that, this is what I came with. You know, you learned from your past mistakes, and you have started to journey on this road that you're in. So would you mind telling us more about the obstacles that you faced and how you overcame the obstacles to become Rudo, the image consultant?
Okay, you want the obstacles in which time frame? Because girl, I could go on and on and on. So give me a time frame.
The most life-altering obstacles that you look at and you say, if it wasn't for this major obstacle, I probably wouldn't have been here today?
Okay, I think what always pops up is most recent. When I decided to leave full-time employment, the biggest obstacle, quote unquote, was the voices around me.
My gosh,
friends, family, and people mean well. To be honest, I'm not downplaying anybody.
Right.
People mean well,
all the time.
But in conversations, at times we're looking at what's practical to say. Look at the economy right now.
Yeah.
Is this the right time?
Right.
Let's not go ahead of ourselves. Let's not allow the emotions to make you make a decision which is not timely. But in life's journey, deep in your heart, you always know when it's time. Right. You always know when it's time. Right. But the setback is always things like fear, the people around you, because they mean well, and they're like, you know what, they'll give you the facts to say, give it another year and let's see how things will turn out in the country, or push your side hustle until it gets to a certain stage, then you can leave. Right. But when it's time, it's time. And at times you're in a space and you realize that your productivity levels have reached the ceiling.
Right.
So you now become unfair as well to people, especially the employer, because you've got certain frustrations on the inside. And it's not about them, it's about me, because the journey of life is mine.
Right. It's your journey.
It's my journey.
No one else can walk your path.
No one can, because I'm the one who's got the feelings. I'm the one who's waking up miserable or psyching myself up every Monday to say, I can do this, I can do this. Another Monday, another week. And everybody else, life is going on.
Right.
So,
it's interesting that you should say that, because I was listening to one of the motivational speakers, and they were talking about how, just like how you have a unique fingerprint, your fingerprint is not the same as mine or anyone else.
Right.
The same with your soul, your thoughts. What you go through is unique. Yeah. Like no one can ever sit down and say, you know how you should go through life, do it this way, and that way.
Yeah.
So I like how you're telling us that you got to a place where you realize you've reached the ceiling and you realize you're not happy.
Yeah.
So how did you get over that? How did you get over the voices that people were sharing? How did you say, you know what? I hear what you guys are saying, but this is the road that I want to take.
I think one of the good things I did was investing in a life coach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I invested in a life coach. I then got a very, very amazing mentor.
Okay.
And these two people were like pillar voices that were saying, you know what, if you need to move, it's time. Okay. If you feel it's time, you do it. Wow. And I like what my mentor said. She said, if you fail, so what?
Wow, okay. We don't
you can get up again and you go. But you will only know once you actually get up and go.
Yeah.
You don't want to look back and have what if. It's about, stepping out into the waters, and if I drown or almost drown, surely there'll be a hand that will pull me out in my journey. I've got my coach, I've got my mentor. They'll be there to encourage and say, okay, let's pick up again. Where did we miss it?
Wow.
Because I believe, living in regret is worse than, having tried, failed, got up and tried again.
Right.
Because you cannot, time is a very precious commodity, and you cannot get it once you've lost it.
They say failing is just finding another reason why it won't work. So you need to keep trying, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's important. I'm hearing surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yes,
a
most
mentor
definitely.
and a coach. So how did you identify, like, okay, this would be the person that can mentor me? Because, so often we are told that, find a mentor, find someone who can walk with you. But how do I get to that place where I say, this is the right one for me?
I think for me, my journey is a bit different from
most
people in terms of how I found my mentor. I think, I learned earlier in my life stage that never delete a contact in your phone. You don't know when you will meet that person.
Okay.
Talk to people. When you meet people, talk to people, learn from people.
Right.
And that's one of the strengths I believe I have. I ask questions, and I think the researcher in me, continues on that thrust. And I just
have to retweet that. Oh my gosh, did you hear that? Never delete a contact from your phone. You never know when you will need them. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I still have contacts from like 2011 in my phone. So I hear what you're saying, because it's important to keep your networks and the people around you, as options.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what then happened is, in the conversations, actually she used to be a client.
Oh wow.
And then we just started having conversations, and in between the conversations I started realizing that she has stuff that I like. So I would ask questions and I would talk, and she was very, very open and willing to share.
Right.
And kudos to her. Jules, if it wasn't for you. She's been amazing.
Wow.
So it's very important, to have conversations, talk to people, because if you make it too structured in terms of, almost like interviewing someone, so can you be my mentor, what are you all about, it's not going to work. It's something that should flow naturally, because in your learning from that person, you should be able to engage and be able to draw from the person. So some people will say the mentor thing does not work is because there's no conversational chemistry, for lack of a better word or statement. You are not able to draw from that person, because I always say there's something to learn from everyone.
Wow.
What more from someone who has walked a journey that you would like to walk?
That's true.
You will stop and look and think and process and learn. And also, some of the mistakes they've made, you won't have to make them, because you're having conversations and they are guiding you.
Wow.
We don't know everything.
True.
Find someone to learn from.
Guys, a lot of retreat moments going on right now. So just to go back to our questions that people want to know, so what then made you decide to start Gilet Creations?
I think for me, how it started actually is I just decided to just love myself more.
Right.
I felt I was downplaying myself. I was not giving myself the love that I deserve.
Wow.
And at times in life we expect the whole world to give us that love that we deserve. But if I don't love myself the way I deserve, you're gonna love me or engage me at the level at which I allow you to. So if I'm a bit indifferent with myself, I should change myself, or I look down upon myself, you won't really know where to place.
True.
But if I hold my head up high and I'm loving myself, some way, somehow it becomes it has like these positive vibes.
Right.
You're not as droopy, you're not as this person. So that's something that I was like deliberate about it. And also now having conversations with some people that I'm like mentoring and coaching now, I realize that a lot of people don't see the value in themselves. They've allowed TV or media to depict the perfect person that is lovable. To say, because, you've had a baby, you've got this tummy, you're not as beautiful, or you've got blotches on your skin, you're not as wow. So, try and cover it with makeup. If it's not covered with makeup, then you're feeling a bit uncomfortable around the flawless looking people, like skin perfect like you.
Oh my gosh.
But I've just learned that I embrace who I am.
Wow.
With all my shortcomings, with all my negatives and the positives, I've just got to love myself.
Wow.
So that's how Gilet was born, because it's about love yourself.
Right.
And then you teach other people how to love you.
Right.
Yeah.
Do as you're talking, I'm realizing that you know what they say when they say your purpose is within you, right?
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you started video creations because you realized for yourself that, you know, I need to be in a space where I need to love myself.
Yeah.
And you just decided to give out what you have learned in life for the rest of the world, which is amazing, I think. So you said social media and loving yourself.
Yeah.
You know, in this age that we're living in, I'm sure everyone out there can attest to this. How do you get to love yourself, Rudo, if you are in a place where maybe you put out a picture, a selfie on Facebook, Instagram, and you get one like, or no likes even, and you're like, so nobody likes this? Or maybe you get 5 likes and you see other people getting 700 likes, 1,000 likes. So, you know, so that feedback from other people may feel like, so maybe I'm not worth it. So how do you reconcile being in that space of getting feedback from the world around you and just being complete and whole in yourself as a person?
I think, you know, the trouble comes when you're not in a space where you're okay with yourself.
Right.
So you want the affirmation to come from Steph instead of from self.
Right.
Once I'm content with myself, I'm able to see my value and not wait for Steph to see the value in me and tell me, wow, I like that orange color, it suits you. Even if it doesn't suit me, but if I'm feeling good, I'm going for it.
Right.
I will give an example of my hair. I mean, my hairstyles are extremely diverse.
Yes, I can.
Sometimes I've got shaved sides, sometimes I've got, you know, afro, but it's about the things that I like to do.
Right.
It's not necessarily to say, I want someone to say, oh, that suits you.
Yeah.
If I like it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Because I can't live for other people.
Yeah.
And social media, you find at times people then live for social media. Because now you have 50 people that liked your photo within the first hour, then yes. But tomorrow when you have one person who liked your photo, maybe the other 50 are busy. Maybe they don't have data.
Right.
Then you get into a depression. And you're like, you know what? People have forgotten about me. No.
Yeah.
Social media, you cannot allow social media to dictate your pace.
Right.
Because it can become an obsession. You're living for social media. And social media is painting who you are. You paint who you are.
Wow.
Because when you get that horrible comment to say, oh my God, your tummy, you're looking 9 months pregnant, then what do? Are you going to stop posting your pictures?
Well, I use filters, I cover it up.
No filters. And I'm not about to, you know, to start bleaching and say, oh, I also want to be a yellow bone or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Right.
This is who I am, and I love myself the way I am.
Wow.
And when you love yourself the way you are, you're not going to go to social media to seek affirmation. Because if it doesn't come, then what? Then you are stuck.
Wow. Okay.
You're stuck and miserable and thinking things that may not necessarily be the truth.
Right.
So, okay, maybe people didn't really like my picture.
Yeah. And then you stop posting.
And so what if they didn't?
I don't know. It just doesn't feel nice, you know. You know, it just feels like, so nobody thinks this is nice, you know. But like what you say, I like what you're saying. People are busy, okay. No one is out there waiting.
Yeah,
for
we're not sitting and waiting for you. Geez, we're doing live, and now you know with post-COVID, we are working online.
Yeah,
we're busy trying to get life back on track.
Right.
So I'm not sitting waiting to like, oh my gosh, and there she goes. Hey,
yeah.
No, because social media can trash you as well. Are you ready for it?
Right. So there is that side of being liked, and then there's the side of being trashed. So we just need to be in a space where we are okay with ourselves, regardless of what people are saying to us.
Because someone can just like for out of obligation. So okay-ish, maybe she'll inbox me and say you didn't like my picture. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they are in agreement of what they are seeing.
Yeah.
So why I'm also saying that social media should not define you know the number of comments or whatever it is, because actually for me, like my biggest followers, I would say on social media, you will not see them comment.
Right.
or liking any of my pictures. Someone will inbox and say, you know what, that message that you wrote was just for me. I was just going through stuff. That's just what I needed. So at the end of the day, it's not about just the posting pretty faces or pretty pictures. What is your objective? Why are you on social media?
Right.
If you want to be liked and whatever, then you're probably going to go through those misery points because sometimes people are busy. But if you want to engage and be able to impact your life, then go for it. Keep pushing. You will have haters, but if you can change one life, then you have changed a whole generation. Because you do not know who that person is going to be tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. Oh, okay. This is some deep stuff. Okay, we're just like getting right into it. So, okay, I could go on and on about, just the aspect of loving yourself and if there are any steps that a person should take. Because there's different factors. We've spoken about social media, but there's also issues of someone's background, where they're coming from. Maybe you came from a family where people were not so affirmative of you, people didn't have nice things to say. Maybe you grew up in a step parented house, things like that. So there's also that obstacle where someone is trying to overcome what the people that is supposed to be family did or said to them, you know. So I can forget social media and say, whatever, guys, I'm doing me. How do I get past those that are close to me? How do I get past the family and friends that, say all sorts?
I love that question because it speaks to the core of one of my major courses that I coach on, helping you build the best version of yourself, a healthy brand. Yeah. And one of the things that we tackle, in the first modules is the issue of your background. Because everything about your background contributes to who you are today. Yeah. Like what I mentioned earlier, high school. I give kudos to my high school because it gave me an air of confidence. I can't really explain the dynamics of how it happened, but environments always influence a lot about your character. True. That's why you find, if somebody is coming from a very violent background, later on in their years, those traits can actually come up. Unless if they're extremely deliberate and conscious about it, to say, I don't want to become this kind of person. That's why you find in some situations they'll be like, I'm going to they're becoming like their dad, they're becoming like their mom, because that was the environment that they were raised in. So the journey is about working on your mind, because you've got to speak to yourself. I have a friend who in high school, primary actually, her legs, she's always been conscious about her legs. And in primary school, she was called all sorts of things. She was called stick legs, she was called this and that. As a result, trousers.
She always wears trousers.
She always wears trousers. And I remember having a conversation and saying, but you've got beautiful legs, why don't you wear, skirts or anything like that? And that was the explanation. In primary school, they teased me, and now, to date, I'm still uncomfortable. So that's the impact of our life journey. Right. So I always say words are powerful. I mean, even when we go to creation, in the beginning in the Bible, the world was created by words. God spoke, let there be. And so it's important, the voices that are speaking into your life. Who is speaking into your life constantly? Because some may be even in relationships that are abusive, and you're constantly told you're useless, you're nothing, you're nothing, and you begin to believe it, and you begin to carry yourself that way, and you and everybody is like wondering, but what's happening to her? She was like all together. Is it finances? What is it? But it's the voices that are speaking that are beginning to shape you. So it's important in the life journey to then start taking charge, because if you don't take charge, it will become the reality that you just say, this is who I am. This is who I am. I was told I'm ugly and I will not amount to anything, and that's it. Because even in some family setups, there's comparisons. Why can't you be like your older brother?
Yeah.
Your older brother, he's a pilot now. Hey, you want to do art, you want to do what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's all those dynamics. So it's about taking hold of yourself.
Right.
So I take people on that journey.
Wow.
And we come up with affirmations. What are the weak points? And we build up on the weak points to say, I was the middle child. I was never seen. I was never this. So what can we do to, help you come out of that space where you feel like, I was just sidelined.
Right.
Because it's just your mind. In some instances, it may not necessarily be the fact.
Wow.
To say stick legs, then you look at the legs and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
But
legs.
You've made it a reality.
Right. Wow. I am so fascinated about what you just said right now. To say, you have to take charge.
Yeah.
And just say, you know what? Enough is enough. I am going to define me.
Yeah.
Who am I and what do I want out of life. So in terms of
sorry, but also just to say, on the taking charge part, I know someone will be like, but it's not so easy. You don't understand.
That was my next question. Like, you said take charge, but how do I I'm drowning in shame.
Yeah. I will not say downplay, anybody's situation and just say, get hold of yourself. No, it's not easy. The magnitudes are different for people, which is why I talked about the coach, the mentor, and even going through coaching sessions, mentorship sessions, where you are learning and undoing stuff.
Right.
Because some things it'll take longer to undo because you have believed this thing
for so long.
Yes, that I can't be a CEO. I can't because I'm a C person, I'm a D person, I'm a this, I'm a that.
Yeah.
So it's a journey.
Right.
So it's about, number one, identifying somebody that can walk the journey with you.
Right.
But even before identifying, it's about acknowledging.
Right.
Because some people don't actually acknowledge and realize that this is my situation and this is my problem.
So you need to realize that this is actually where I'm at and I need help.
Yes. Because some people then blame. And my mother did this to me, but mom has moved on with life. What about you?
Yeah.
You've got to take hold and take responsibility of all that negative.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. Because you hear people, my dad, I grew up in a broken family. My uncle did this to me.
Yeah.
And like you said, not to downplay anything, but at the end of the day, the life is yours to live.
Yes.
That's
it's your
amazing.
life. I mean, look at me. I came from a broken home, but I can't look back and, be crying.
Because nobody cares.
Yeah. Life does not give a hoot. You know what I mean? You need food on the table.
Right.
I can't then say, my dad, and then he refused to take me to college and pay for my, schooling. And as a result, I just, became the worst version of what I could be.
Yeah.
If only my dad did this, then I could have.
Right.
Could have. It's just not gonna cut it.
Right.
It's not gonna cut it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's it's loaded.
It's stuff that I go in depth in the book I'm writing about learning how to love yourself.
Right.
I talk about my journey and my experiences and how I came out of it. When I got to that place of rejection, when my dad was like, go and work and figure it out on your own.
At what age was this?
I was just coming out of high school.
Oh my gosh.
I was just coming out of high school and I remember going to his workplace, sitting in his office and telling him, okay, my college, can you pay? And he's like, no, you need to go and work and feel how it's like to work.
Your own father?
Yeah, my dad.
Wow.
My lookalike dad. Not even, stolen or borrowed, my dad. But, when I look at my life journey, yes, I had moments where I was very angry, where I was very bitter. I'm not going to lie and say it was like click of a finger and I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So 5-6 years later, that's when eventually I started, my degree.
Wow.
But in the few years, there was wallowing and just working and just doing life, losing your direction because you didn't see this thing coming.
Right.
I did not see it coming.
Nobody
Then you look
ever
at
sees
your
it coming.
peers and you're like, oh my gosh, others have already completed their degrees and and that blame thing that I was talking about. But you're wasting time.
Wow.
You're wasting time.
I can't wait to read this book. I can imagine there's a lot of twists and turns in there.
Yeah.
So I might have people listening right now who will be saying they probably identify with what you've said and they feel like they do need help. How do they get in touch with you? How do they join the Gilet Creations movement?
Okay, most people actually, you find that what's easier for them is following me on Facebook.
Okay.
Following me on Facebook, follow me on my Instagram account.
Okay.
Because I post a lot of motivational, inspirational, transformational, quotes and just posts and even conversations that I have on self-love, self-care, confidence. Just that whole journey. So you find that a lot of people then come to my inbox and, someone will be like, okay, I need help on 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
How does it work? How do I do it?
Wow.
But also simply, what's up?
Okay.
A text message away.
So if someone is out there looking at you and saying, I need help, they can simply text you and reach out and you'll be able to assist in whatever way you can.
Yes.
Okay.
I like one thing that one of my pastors once said some years ago. They said, you go through things in life for 3 reasons.
Right.
1, you go through situations for yourself. Number 2, you go through situations in life for others, to help others.
Right.
And number 3, it's both number 1 and 2. So I believe for me, number 3 is most practical and most relevant and applicable to me, because I'm able to take people through a more practical journey. I'm not talking theory to say, oh no, you can do this. And I'm thinking, can they really do it? I know it works. It's stuff that I know works.
Right.
So I'm not giving people theory. I know that in many cases, we downplay our abilities, our capabilities, our strengths, who we are.
Yeah.
I've had situations where in my sessions, one of the questions I ask, I say, list down 10 things that you don't like about yourself and 10 things that you like about yourself and who you want to be. You find that some of the things that are put in who I want to be, that's who they are already. But they don't see who they are.
Right. Wow. Okay, I think, like what you're saying, when you ask someone their weaknesses, they can list like 20, like I'm not good at this, I can't do this, I can't sing, oh, that's okay, great. What about your strengths?
Yeah.
People struggle. Even I struggle. I'm like, oh, maybe this, maybe that. And even in that, I'm still downplaying the strengths. I'm not even outright about saying, I'm good at singing, I can dance, that sort of thing. So I'm assuming from what you've been saying so far that that's part of the confidence life journey, where you're actually going all out about your strengths. Like, this is me and this is what I can do, guys. Or not even guys, but this is what I can do, and I'm just embracing it and going for it. What do you do with the weaknesses? Do you ignore them? Do you acknowledge them and just, what happens?
You acknowledge them, because if you have something that you're not about to work on, you're not going to delete it by some magic wand wave. It's there. So accept it. This is who I am. But they say what you focus on is what grows. So when you focus on the good things, when you focus on the positive energy, there's those people that are just nice to be around, that are bubbly to be around. Like your company, I mean, you're good company. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so it means that most probably, even in you focusing and doing you're focusing on the positive things. Because if we all focus on all the negative things,
Yeah.
a lot of us won't be fun to be around.
True.
Because you're just like this miserable, irritating Trump.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, there she goes again. And she's talking about, oh, how she doesn't have money, or how life has just been a fail, or how she was fired, or how this and that. You know what I mean? Focus on the positive things.
Right. Okay, so focus. So even though I can only think of 3 strengths that I have, and think of 75 weaknesses, I should focus on the 3 strengths until I'm really good at the 3 strengths.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you want to go to town about it, go to town about it.
About the 3 strengths.
Yes, it's your life. You are doing you.
Okay, that's amazing, and I am so happy to hear you say that. I will try and just, guys, like you've heard it. Focus on the strengths, okay? And then hopefully you can also then work on the weaknesses.
Yeah.
And just know, I feel like knowing your weaknesses also just helps you to know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
For example, if someone says to you, oh, Steph, we need someone who can help us with organizing a party. If I know that organization is not my strength, or it's one of my weaknesses, like I'm bad at organizing, I will just know to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help. But maybe I can help you with being an MC. I can help you with being a moderator. So knowing both spaces is a good thing, right?
Yeah. But also another tip, if you want to then become good at planning, then ask for hand holding. And say, okay, you know what, I want to help you, but I will consult on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. It helps you build up the confidence in terms of the whole process. Right. Because don't be quick to then say, this is just my weakness and that's it.
Wow.
You can actually turn it into a strength. And at times you're seeing the negative side only. It may not necessarily actually be a weakness.
Right.
It could be your money maker.
Okay. So it's acknowledging the weaknesses and then deciding to work on them.
Yeah.
Not to just say, I've got these weaknesses, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
But you can say, I've got these weaknesses and I want to work on them. Guys,
if it's things you can't change, don't be too
hard.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone else out there, but I'm just sitting here feeling like I am learning a whole lot. So, I mean, you've got this information that's just coming out of you, and I'm just wanting to encourage everyone out there, if you do need coaching, assistance with your image or whatever, don't be afraid to reach out to this woman right here. I will put her details at the end of this interview just for you to talk to her. But I mean, it's amazing stuff that you're saying, and just the practicality and the realness of it all is what's amazing, I think. Because we're surrounded by motivational speakers and coaches from America, from other countries, and I'm so glad that I'm sitting next to a Zimbabwean, coach who's talking to me on something that I can actually relate. It's amazing. So what advice would you give? We're just coming out of this pandemic and people are still trying to get their feet on the ground, still trying to figure out what to do. What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs out there? Maybe someone who's wanting to venture into something, someone who lost their job. What words of wisdom would you say to people during this pandemic?
I think having walked the journey where, I also went into like a slump. The first month of shutdown, lockdown, businesses were closed. So it means my shop was closed. I couldn't sell. I couldn't generate any income. And you're totally stuck and you're thinking, what next? So as an entrepreneur, you realize that you always have to think on your feet.
Right.
To think, okay, what's the next thing? What's going to happen? Because no one really knew what was going to be the outcome, when shutdown and lockdown happened. So I just started revisiting all the things I had listed down, or even some things I hadn't even written down that were in my head, where I'd say, I want to do this, I want to do that. Yeah. Now I was forced to think and start planning.
Right.
So I think what's always important is to stick to the vision, the goals, the plans.
Right.
So if you don't have a vision, goal, plan, you will then be stuck because you will just be shooting in the dark. But when you have your vision, goal, plan, you just keep moving. Wow. Even when it feels like things are not moving.
Right.
I still kept planning, to restock. I still kept planning, and, because I had to just keep it going.
Right.
Because the vision is to then, achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
Then it ceases to be a vision because I'm not seeing, the end game. I've got to still see the end game, even when everything is like bleak and dark. It's my vision.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep pushing, but also having conversations with the right people,
Right.
the like-minded people, to say, okay, there's somebody else who's doing bedding, home interior, home decor. What are you doing? What are you working on? Okay, so how did you tackle 1, 2, 3, 4? For me, in the end, in my second month, I just decided I'm closing the shop for now. I'm shifting the shop, I'm bringing it home.
Right.
Because I'm going to be paying salaries and, incurring rentals. Is it wise?
Right.
So it's about looking at your situation as well and seeing what can I work on immediately.
Right.
There's always something to do. I mean, I ended up, deciding that, the past 10 years I've been saying I'm going to write a book. I'm working on my book. My YouTube channel has been like lying dormant. I started working on my YouTube channel because I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I work on? I started putting together more of my modules, which I'd said I'd work on later, because digital is the next, is the next trending thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't have one-on-ones with a lot more people now.
Yeah.
So it's about looking at what works for my type of business and going for it. Don't let the barriers of what the environment is looking like be what defines what you do, how you do, and when you do.
Okay, wow. All right. So it's always looking outside of the box of the surroundings that you're in. So how do you handle pressure then? How do you handle, the pressure that comes with, okay, I've got people mouths to feed, I've got salaries to pay, like what you're saying, I've got people on social media waiting to hear what I have to say. How do you handle the pressure of life, work, being a mom, and you have business owner? How do you manage it?
I think for me, I won't even say the work front has like a negative pressure. It's a positive pressure in terms of I have to keep moving.
Okay.
Why I say that is because they always say, when you do things you love, you can do it even for no salary. True. Because you're doing things that you love.
Right.
But of course, there's mouths to feed.
Yes.
So for me, I think, just knowing my goal, my why. We always talk about you need to know your why. Why do you want to do what you are doing?
Yeah.
What is it that you want 20 years from now?
Right.
So keeping my eyes on the ball to say that's where I want to get to. That's what keeps me going, despite the hurdles that will come and want to maybe frustrate me, the challenges, the COVID, the shutdown. I will just keep pushing and saying there's got to be a way.
Right.
And, keep looking. Right. Who moved my cheese? They were there in the maze trying to find the cheese.
Yeah.
It's easy to then say, what, there's no more cheese in the maze. Let's sit here, let's call it quits.
Sure.
But what if there is cheese?
Right.
But you will only know if you move.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it's what I'm hearing is it's how you look at the pressure.
Yes.
That you are faced with.
Yeah. Allow it to push you forward because, social media can be blunt, can be horrible, can be this, but that should not define because I know my goal. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is fascinating, Rudo. And I am so happy that we got to talk because I know some people are learning and hearing, and I'm also really getting impacted and just realizing the spaces that I need to work on. Just as one of my very last questions to you, what would you say has been your secret of success? Do you have a secret of success? Is there a secret of success?
If I share it ceases to be a secret.
Oh, come on, help us! Surely there's a few tips you can give us.
I would say number one,
Yeah.
getting to a place of knowing who you are and what you want to do in life.
Okay. So having clarity in that.
Yes. And a clear vision.
Okay.
Because when you don't have a clear vision, you will fumble. And for the longest, I was in that space where my vision was not so clear. So I was fumbling, I was trying, but now I'm very clear. So that's an open secret.
Right.
Know what you want and who you want to become.
Right.
Why? Because once you know who you want to become and what you want, it's not going to be Steph who's going to come and tell you who you need to be.
Right.
Steph is not going to tell you and say, no, I think the HR thing, leave it for people like this and that, because you're not really the person for it.
Right.
We've seen stories of a lot of introverted people that, amazing confident coaches or life coaches or moderators for amazing platforms, and they were generally not like a people's person, but they just decided this is what I want to do in life, and they went for it. And even when we read about a lot of these amazing people, your Oprah Winfrey, a lot of rejection, told, don't ever go into this media space, Lisa Nicholas, so many of these people, have amazing stories of how they were told you can't. So once your mindset, you are sure and set, this is what I want to do. That's what's going to get you up every day. Even when everything is saying, it's not working. And the fact is on the ground that it's not working. You will still keep pushing.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm not saying, for me, it's like a smooth sail. It can never be a smooth sail for anybody.
Yeah.
But that why.
Because you were clear about your why.
Yeah.
You continued going. You never stopped.
So clear vision, knowing what you want, where you want to go. And deciding that I'm going to stay focused, because along the way it's easy actually to falter and go for some things that look easier to actually do and jump in to say, okay, this is going to give me bread and butter, but you find yourself you're in that space for like 30 years. Then 30 years later you're feeling so empty and unfulfilled.
Wow. It's interesting that you should say that, because so many times people know what they don't want, but they're not sure about what they actually do want. It's like, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to live in a small house, I don't want to not drive and all that. It's like, okay, but what do you want? Let's not talk about what you don't want, but what do you want, so that you can focus towards that. Guys, I had like so many questions that I was supposed to ask, but because of our time, if you do have questions, if you've got more things that you may need clarity on, please do not hesitate to comment on the sections down below, or to get in touch with Rudo and just talk to her one-on-one. Like she said, she's got coaching activities that she has and a book that she's writing, so you can always reach out anytime. So I will ask my one last question and then we'll call it a day. Yes. My last question for you today, Rudo, is, what has been your life defining moment?
Maybe I will talk about my most recent. Maybe that would be more excitable. I think leaving my job, that was a life-defining moment. It's never an easy decision for a lot of us. For some it's very easy to just get up and go, because now you're standing and you're looking at stuff. You don't have someone to sort of like hide behind to say, you know what, we didn't meet our sales target, but the salary will still come.
It's still coming.
It's about your efforts.
Right.
It's about your efforts as an individual. It was a very interesting space, but I think because deep down I knew it was time, I just said, I'm jumping into the deep end and I'm gonna fail forward.
Right.
It was very life-defining, because I started working on a lot of projects that I had conceptualized in my head, some had put down, so it just got me into a space of moving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very scary life-defining moment.
Very.
But I'm so glad that you got to find yourself in that, regard. So any last words to the people that are listening today?
I think, as I am Rudo Creations, I'm all about loving yourself. It's always good to put you first, not in a selfish way, because there's a thin line between self-love and selfishness.
Right.
You know, do you, and do you the best that you can, because life is not a rehearsal. Yesterday is gone. You can't get it back.
Right.
So it's important to do you, enjoy today. Life is too short. Don't focus too much on the negatives, but just focus on your journey.
Wow.
Love yourself.
Jide, people, you heard it yourself from the founder of Jide Creations. Thank you so much, Rudo, for joining me on this one-on-one conversation. I hope everyone out there managed to get to know Rudo better and to know more about what she's about and what she's doing and pursuing. Until next time, guys, it's bye from me and Rudo. But until later, Jide.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing.
Thank you, Rudo. Bye, everyone.
Bye.